Let's bring in U.S. Air Force retired Brigadier General and Newsmax contributor Blaine Holt, joined with foreign policy expert Harley Lippman. Gentlemen, thank you for being with us this afternoon. Blaine, what do you think about Trump's deadline and plans to end the war? What do you make of it?
Yeah, I think, Ike, you really hit on some very important things. The president's social media posts may not be to everybody's liking. Sometimes I wish I could take that capability away from him. But what I will say is he messages different groups in different ways at all times. And so a lot of that stuff that we saw over the weekend, not meant for us, meant for the Iranian people, meant for the regime that's getting into its sunset phase here in about 4 hours. Look, the Mellows are not going to back out, but one of the things we do realize and respect is as they sunset, they may look at martyrdom and then look at self-destruction and sabotage as one of those things. We have to watch for that. That's why you saw us hitting Karg Island and the IRGC positions. We're not going to let them sabotage that oil infrastructure that the free Iranian people will need. And that's what this is really about. Not boots on the ground, but the Iranian people taking things into their own hands and getting the word from our president that tonight's your night, your best chance. You should get on that.
Yeah. Harley, what do you think? You agree with Blaine? You see it differently? What do you make of this?
No, I think he's on target. I think that President Trump is doing everything to put the most pressure on this regime so that they come up with a deal. This is what he's always wanted. And there are 4 things he's looking for. And if they're reasonable or if they want to end the war, you'd think they'd come back and negotiate 2 of them or 1 of them of the 4 things. And the 4 things are opening the Straits of Hormuz, no nuclear, no proxies, and no missiles. So then President Trump could decide, given that, what would our strategy be? And our strategy evolves based on new information. So it's not that he doesn't have a strategy. One, his strategy is to be unpredictable, which is a huge strategic asset in warfare. So we'll see what happens tonight. My big concern, though, if I may say, is that I love his approach of maximal effort in defeating an enemy. That's how you end wars. But there are dangers here. If power plants, energy plants are knocked out, you have maternity wards that are closed, desalination plants, and that could turn the Iranian people against us. Secondarily, this would be great propaganda for that regime to say, look, America's attacking everybody in Iran. They're attacking our country. Rally behind us. And third, it's going to erode support internationally and at home. So I don't want him to be accused of a war crime. I want to make sure that he attacks sites that clearly have a military purpose to them.
Understood. I want to get both of your reactions to this post by Florida Congressman Randy Fine. It says, "Happy Bridge and Power Plant Eve." This was yesterday. "Iran should take President Trump at his word and make a deal, or they will soon face the full fire of America's military. America is not playing games." He also went on to expand on the post with this. Take a look.
And for those who are concerned about it, people need to understand this. Power plants that fuel the Iranian military, but also fuel civilian resources, are legitimate military targets. Bridges that the military uses, but also are used for civilians, are legitimate targets. If you use these things in dual use, they are legitimate targets. And it is time for us to send an overwhelming message to the Iranian government that we are not going to put up with it. So they can join the community of Western nations, or they can get blown up. That's what President Trump has said. Now, I certainly hope they will see the light. They will come to what would be common sense and say, look, we're going to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. We're going to put down our weapons. We're not going to try to build a nuclear weapon. We're not going to try to build a missile to get that to the United States. And we can all live together in peace and harmony. But that's up to the Iranians. President Trump has made clear what will happen if they don't get in line.
All right. So, Blaine, the president talked about ending a civilization. I think you sort of alluded to it in your first answer. But talk to me about this. When President Trump says this in the post, what do you think he's really talking about?
Yeah, so I don't think I understand Representative Fine's passion, but it doesn't have a lot to do with military strategy. Where we're at here with the power plants and the bridges is, they're all potential military targets. You don't discern one from another, and I get the dual use piece. But what did the president just achieve by saying it's power plant day and bridge day? The mullahs have now taken young people and they're making them human shields around these things, removing any veneer,
That's right.
any of the propaganda that they've been using with the Iranian people to say we've got your back and we're with you and we're a benevolent leadership group. All that's gone. The 90 million people can see it all for themselves. I think we'll be a little bit more with a scalpel than we will be with a sledgehammer. And the president is well aware of what it looks like on the other side of this, and that the free Iranian people need to have lights and they need to have an economy and they need to be able to sell oil. He knows that.
Yeah, no question. Well, you talked about the human shields. I only have a little bit of time left, Harley. If we could throw up the graphic there on this video message calling on the youth of the Islamic Republic to form human chains around power plants in the country. Apparently, residents are complying. Harley, what do you make of this strategy? What would you do if you're in the position of the president? How does this, sort of change our strategy? We got about 40 seconds left. What do you think?
Yeah, they learned from Hamas. This is exactly what Hamas did. And unfortunately, very effectively in terms of public relations. So I would say the president should be, as your guest said, use a scalpel. They can't do it to every bridge and every power plant, and they're not going to be there 24/7. So we have great surveillance. I would try to stay away where they have people around it. Don't give them a propaganda victory.
Yeah. I do have one follow-up question for both of you, if you could answer quickly. What do you think happens tonight at 8 p.m.? We see the countdown clock happening under 4 hours now. Do you think bombs start flying at 8:02, or is this something that leads into the next phase, which may be hours away past the deadline? Blaine, to you first. What do you think?
Yep, just give it to you real short. I think we're going to go big, and I think it's going to be very quickly. It might not be 8:02, but within that hour, we're going to get going. And whatever it is that the Iranian people need, you need a bomb here, you need a bomb there, 30 minutes or it's free.
Okay. And Harley, what do you think in 10 seconds or so?
I think he may hit one and lean to the Iranian and say, so now can we talk? They don't talk. He hits another and he says, what about now? And he may continue like that.
Yeah. Excellent insight, gentlemen. Thank you for your time this afternoon. Blaine Holt, Harley Lippman, appreciate you being here.